With insanely high taxes, ridiculous traffic, and million-dollar broom closets, it's no wonder hundreds of thousands of people have already left California and moved to Las Vegas. If you're thinking about leaving the second most expensive state there has never been a better time. This video is going to be all about the best way for you to move from California to Las Vegas, and I guarantee you have never thought about moving with these steps in this order, so pay attention, listen up, because here we go. The first thing you need to know as a buyer leaving California and moving to Las Vegas, there are a few things you're gonna have to accept about the market right now. First thing, there's no getting around the fact that sellers have the absolute advantage in the market right now. It's a very strong seller's market, which means that there aren't very many homes on the market, but there are thousands and thousands of qualified buyers who all wanna purchase those same homes. Now that means that there is a lot of competition in the market and homes are routinely selling for more than list price. People are routinely putting down $10,000, $20,000 over list price because they're that desperate to buy a home. Now the median home price in Las Vegas right now is about $450,000. This is higher than it has ever been, but it is still way less expensive than many real estate markets in California, probably the real estate market that you're leaving. So keep this in mind when you're thinking about moving from California to Las Vegas. If you don't quite understand what I'm saying, this is a great step to find a trusted real estate advisor. Could be me, could be somebody else. Make sure you ask them to explain all this in detail, get down to the nitty-gritty, because you're gonna need to understand this and accept this if you wanna be successful in the market in 2022. After accepting these conditions, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is price out your current property in California and figure out, if you're planning on selling it, how much it's worth. So get a trusted real estate advisor or just have an appraisal done. That's gonna be the next step. That's gonna give you the value of that home. And if you don't own any property in California, that's okay. You can just skip this step. But the reason you wanna do this right now, before considering any other finances, is because you want to make sure that you're gonna be sitting on that large cash reserve when you're coming into the Las Vegas market. Sellers typically like cash offers, so if you can purchase with cash, then you're gonna be in a much better situation. Your offer is going to be much more competitive. And the reason sellers prefer cash offers is because cash generally closes faster. You don't have to get a lender involved. It's just much simpler, much easier. It's easy to verify the funds. So if you can pay in cash in Las Vegas, you're gonna be at a huge advantage to all the other buyers that are just financing their purchase with a mortgage. After factoring in the sale of the property, you're going to want to look at the rest of your finances next. And most people start with what I can afford to spend, but I recommend you start with what you want to spend, or at least do them both at the same time. The reason I recommend this is because say you can afford a $10 million home, but you really only want to purchase a $1 million home, then you shouldn't be looking at $10 million homes up front, because that's not something you're going to do, and you'd be surprised how many people look at homes that are more expensive than they actually want to purchase. So don't fall into this trap and waste your time. Again, I recommend at this point you speak with a trusted real estate advisor, some kind of agent or realtor, and also bring in a financial advisor, licensed, certified financial advisor. They're going to be able to help you through this transaction, kind of match up what your goals are to the actual transaction. And if you're doing a 1031 exchange, like some of you might be doing, there's going to be a certain amount of money that you actually have to spend on this transaction in Las Vegas. And if that's the case, it's even more important to pull a financial advisor or a tax advisor into the mix so that they can make sure the exchange goes the way it's supposed to, the way it's legally supposed to go, and then come tax season, you're not gonna run into any headaches. Now pay attention, because this is the part that most people just kind of skip right over, and it's really important, even more important than deciding on the house you actually wanna buy. And so what you need to do is start asking yourself, what kind of neighborhood do I want to live in? But also, what kind of neighborhood do I need to live in? These two questions are extremely important to the process. The reason this is so important is because you can't change the neighborhood once you purchase a home in it. You can knock down walls in the house, you can paint, you can do all sorts of stuff, but you can't change the neighborhood if you have crappy neighbors. you're absolutely stuck with them. In fact, the only real thing you can do if you get stuck in a neighborhood that you don't like or a part of the city you don't like is sell your house and go through this whole process again, and more than likely that's going to cost you several $1,000s. So carefully consider the on-screen items. If you need to, pause the video, write them down. These are all things you absolutely need to be thinking about when you're considering different areas of the city, different neighborhoods, that sort of thing. And if you need more help, you can always go down into the description after you're done watching this video. There's a link to one of my other videos, Red Flags, about when you're finding a home in Las Vegas. It's going to give you some things to look for, some more information. So make sure you check that out if you need some more help, if you're confused. Now it's time to decide what your home needs, but also what you want it to have. Pause the screen again, write all this stuff on screen down. These are just some of the things you're going to want to consider when you're looking at homes online. It's not an all-inclusive list, so give this some really deep thought. And here's a real ninja tip, y'all. You're gonna wanna start by thinking very, very hard about your new life here in Las Vegas. Start thinking about the things you wanna do at home, the things you wanna do out, what kind of commute you wanna have, what kind of neighbors you wanna have, do you wanna have a view? All of these things are super important to the house and the neighborhood and to the whole process in general to make sure you find a house that you're actually happy with and that hopefully you want to love to live in. Now comes the fun part, guys. Come to Las Vegas because at this point you should have already found a list of homes or at least a list of neighborhoods that roughly fit your budget, what you need, and what you want in that order. And now it's time to closely examine those neighborhoods and start crossing them off the list. So the best way that you want to do this, the way I always recommend to my clients, come to Las Vegas and go drive through those neighborhoods, walk through those neighborhoods at least twice per week, 2 different times at least. I cannot stress this enough, y'all. So maybe a Monday morning and a Saturday evening, or maybe a Thursday afternoon and a Sunday morning. Something like that, at least twice per week. If you do this at least twice, it's going to give you a pretty good picture about what the area looks like at different times of the week, who's out and about at different times of day. And these are all really important things to safety, to security, to the kind of neighbors you want, to the type of noise that you're willing to put up with in your neighborhood. So make sure you do that and start crossing neighborhoods off your list as you go. And once you've narrowed that list of neighborhoods down, then it's about taking that list of neighborhoods, applying it to a website like Zillow, Redfin, or also the MLS where your realtor is probably sending you homes from, and then start viewing homes in those neighborhoods that you really like to live in. Now, since you might be living in California at this point full time, you might have to view homes virtually, which is completely acceptable. That's very normal in this age. But if your realtor can't or won't show you homes virtually, it's probably time to find a different realtor, because after all, y'all, it's 2022 and seeing homes virtually should be commonplace for that realtor. The final step is probably the easiest step because you've completed all the subsequent steps at this point. You've really done all the hard work. Now is time to fill out that paperwork and submit those offers on those homes that you really want to buy. And the realtor should really be doing most of this. You're just kind of filling out a few things on the paperwork, sign here, sign there, and then the offers will be sent in and you'll be ready to go and hopefully get accepted and you'll be buying your brand new home. The next video you should be checking out is popping up on screen right now. I really hope you got some value from this content, and if you did, please go down below, smash that subscribe button and that like button. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you soon.